No words. Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. I am so excited to talk with you all about Avengers Endgame. I just came back from the theater from seeing it a few hours ago. This will be just my thoughts on the movie. Don't worry, it's a spoiler-free review, so I won't be revealing anything vital to the storyline and the characters. I just want to share with you what I thought about this film. But if you did see it, tell me in the comments below if you liked it or not. Don't reveal any spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Take a look around if there's anything that you like. I do movie reviews. This month has been mainly MCU stuff. I also do rankings, other top 10s I plan on doing, and anything related to movies, TVs, and theme parks. I mean, this is going to be a hard review to do because you don't want to spoil it for anyone because we haven't seen a whole lot of footage in the trailers regarding what's happening in the movie, except for maybe the first 20 minutes. I just think that if you put it in terms of Infinity War and Endgame, Infinity War is where all the action was. Endgame is more of the emotional response to everything that's happening, and it was a great conclusion to the 22 films we've seen in the MCU, and it was the perfect way to tell the story. There's a lot of sacrifice, and it's just victory at the end, and it's just something that we kind of expected to see, but it surprised me in many ways. Most of the things that I saw, I kind of predicted. Some of it still took me by surprise, and by the end of the movie, I felt very satisfied that it ended off this way, and it made me believe that, okay, the MCU is ready for its next era, its next journey, its next saga, so to speak. Without spoiling anything, I like to say that this movie kind of felt like 3 different acts within its 3-hour range. And the first act was more of a aftermath type of setting, a lot of remorse, a lot of moving on, because when Infinity War ended, half of the universe had been wiped out. So here we are, we find our heroes trying to just pick up the pieces and move on with life. That's all I'm really gonna say there. The second act, from we know before seeing the movie, you know that they are on a mission to try to reverse what Thanos had done. So the majority of that film, we find them all on a mission to try to just change that. And then the third act, which I feel is the best part of this entire movie, is the finale, not just to this film, but for the entire 22 movies. It's just massive scale, something that every comic book lover has dreamed of seeing on the screen, not just Marvel Comics. I'm talking any comic book fan. This is the type of film where you would see the comic book literally come to life, and they couldn't have done it any better. And yes, I am a Marvel fan. It's obvious by now if you've seen my channel. But with this movie, even if it was DC or if it was any other comic book that wasn't Marvel, if it was made just like this, I would still say it is one of the best superhero movies ever made. And I'm trying to say this because I'm not biased when it comes to just being a Marvel fan. This is a movie that it was filmmaking at its finest. It was very cinematic. The story was great. They handled the characters just the way they should, and especially for a movie where we know actors like Chris Evans, his contract is up. He knows he was wrapping up. This is his last film. And a few other characters, we know that some of these stories are coming to an end pretty soon. So the way they had things wrapped up in order to conclude this 11-year saga, we couldn't ask for anything more. And for us to invest so much time in the past 22 movies, I mean, this is something that all fans and audiences deserve to see. My God, there are times when I even teared up, especially towards the end. It felt so emotional because you've held on to these characters so long, and they're experiencing these new situations, these new conflicts, and they're having to make these very vital decisions. As for things that I didn't like about this movie, once again, there's not much I should say about it since I might spoil it, but in regards to the pacing of the movie, as I said before, the first hour does pace pretty slowly, and some people might lose interest. My fiance was one of them. She said the first hour was a little bit boring, but I did say it is necessary for this 3-hour film for the first hour to be like that, because you are picking up the pieces, the characters are, of what happened from the last movie, and they're trying to move on with their lives, and they're figuring out what to do, and it's just taking its time. You're seeing all these characters once again that are still around, so it was necessary. Another thing was, and I can't really go on into this really deep, but certain characters of the movie were changed a bit, and it didn't bother me that much, but it wasn't what I was expecting. And I guess after seeing so many movies, you do need to see a different change in certain characters, especially after what they went through the last movie. And I'm not saying they should have changed it, I just thought it was a bit different for me. I'll just say that the last part of this film is probably my favorite, and once again, I'm not gonna say what it is. It's the battle, of course, but I'm not gonna say what battle. But that moment, I just could not believe it. I was watching. I almost felt tears of excitement just from seeing what I was watching on the screen, and that alone made me want to go back to the theater next week to go see it again just for that one moment. And the way this movie ends feels like the way it did in Lord of the Rings Return of the King. If you remember, there were all those multiple endings that were closing certain story arcs for different characters. It does the same thing in this movie, and it feels, I like when movies do that because you're closing off storylines for the separate characters, so it makes it feel like their own individual personal ending. But just coming out of this theater, I felt happy, I felt satisfied, I felt sad. It felt like just bittersweet in the end because it's an era that's over. The Infinity Saga is over. The last 11 years that we invested so much time has come to an end, and we're ready for a new beginning. On to Phase 4. Let's see what happens with that. We have Spider-Man Homecoming. That one is still considered part of Phase 3, but when it comes to the overall Infinity Saga, yes, this is the end. But I have to say, I was impressed. It met my expectations. I am giving this movie an A as letter grade. It definitely deserves it. In my opinion, one of the best superhero movies we've had in quite a while, and I hope it follows suit in future movies and superhero genres, not just Marvel films. But tell me in the comments below, like I said before, what did you think of Endgame, if you liked it or not, without any spoilers. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll be doing a ranking video of all 22 movies, hopefully by this weekend. I'm hoping to come that up as soon as possible so you see where this movie ranks in my 22 films. In the meantime, y'all have a great week. I'll see you at the movies.